Okay, I'm training myself to unmute the mic before I start talking. Like I was gonna mess up like I did the other day. What's up, everybody? It's time for What the Fuck Tuesday. It was mentioned a couple of times on in the chat stream under the show we did on Sunday when women were like, you know what? I watched that show and it just basically breaks any kind of fantasy that I would have about me wanting to be married or in a relationship and all this kind of stuff when they and having kids when they hear about all the drama that other women have gone through. So if you guys have time, share the link right quick because I'm looking at the cover page. We got 25 questions again. So we're going to be here for a minute. So you have time to tweet it or put it on your Facebook or whatever y'all use to help, get some of your friends over here. I went out drinking last night. This is the power of makeup because I have bags under my eyes like you would not believe. I put some ice packs on my eyes so they wouldn't look quite so red. And yeah, I was out. It's still because it's still August. So I'm still partying. I still have a few more days to go. Wasn't that a good show? They were like the best guests. I'm like, I seriously lucked out. Because, it's like 25,000 of y'all, 26,000 of y'all now. And it was like a struggle to get three people. Well, actually, I had four, but then one had to go out of town. And so that was just one of those things. But we still ended up with the three, which is what I was originally aiming for anyway. So it worked out fine and they were perfect. I mean, plus, they were articulate and they knew the subject matter and they were thoughtful and they looked cute. So it was a trifecta. Well, we got going on before I even get started with this. I got to tell you guys, I'm so excited about the stuff that we got coming up for the next couple of, well, not the Labor Day weekend Sunday, because I figure I'm going to be out of town and so are you. So I'm not planning anything for that weekend because the attendance is always low on that. If I try to do something on a holiday. So we're going to skip that Sunday. But this coming Sunday, we're going to be talking about polyamorous relationships. I'm still looking for guests. So it's all the details are on the community wall. And then, okay, then the holiday weekend, nothing. The weekend after that, we're going to talk about divesting. This cry, the war cry of Black women all over the internet. Divest, divest, and it's like, okay, what does that really mean? What you trying to divest from? Because they talk about, they want to be away from Black men. Like, well, don't they have cars? Can't they come to where you are? Aren't you going to see them at work, on the train, on the bus, at the grocery store? I mean, we can't get away from them completely, but I do want to figure out, find out what it is what they're trying to do and what the whole mission is and how it's working for them. And so we're going to be talking about that the following Sunday. That's what, September 12th, I think. So we got all kind of stuff going on this channel. It's just going to be all kind of stuff happening. You open to hearing new perspectives? Yeah, me too. Because, a lot of times it's like, quiet as it's kept. Most women is in a poly relationship anyway. They just didn't know it. So I guess that doesn't really qualify as poly. That's just cheating. But you know what I mean? There's more than one person involved in the shit. So what's the difference? But anyway, we have 25 advice questions today. This is What the Fuck Tuesday. We do the show most Tuesday. I can't say every. But, I try to get in at least, say, 45 out of the 52 weeks a year. And the way it works is people submit their questions in advance for the show. If you have a question that you'd like to be considered for the upcoming broadcast, look in the show description down below and you'll see a link. Just click it and fill out the form and send your question in. That's what these people did, and some of them are going to get an answer they may not like, but you love to be a guest on that show? Yes, Jerisha, you definitely are. I did not respond to your email. Okay, I thought I typed out a response to you, but it's been such a crazy day. It might still be in my drafts folder. I don't know. But I did see your email and I could have sworn I responded, but maybe not. But if not, then after the show I'll send you something. Okay, let's get started. We got 25 questions. 25 questions. This is question number 1. This is a young lady in the 21 to 25 age group from Denver, Colorado. She says, I listened to your child-free show on Sunday and fully agree with the ladies on the panel. That is where I am as well. But this is my problem and I need your advice. So I initially started dating again, mostly looking for a rebound, but I ended up meeting a pretty good guy that's keeper quality. Ooh. We have a lot in common and share some of the same struggles. However, he has kids from a previous marriage. Oh boy. Having kids is not, and she put that in caps and bold, a goal in my life, and I enjoy the freedom and peace of mind of the child free lifestyle. I never speak poorly about the fact that he has kids, and I think he sees that as a good thing, like I've accepted this. But in reality, I haven't been able to articulate the right way to tell him it's a deal breaker for me. I don't want to hurt his feelings by any means, but I don't want to continue dating someone and wasting their time as well as mine. How should I handle this revelation? Okay, so you ended up meeting a good guy. Okay, you don't say how long, which is really interesting because most of the time that's one of the first things that women want to say is how long they've been dating a dude. But that you left out some important things like, are you guys like a couple? Did he ask you to be his woman? Are you just dating him with no real, defined situation here? See, those are important details that I need to know to be able to tell you what to say. And you left out that you was talking about all kind of other stuff. But I'm going to assume that it's been, I don't know, say a month or 6 weeks or less. Let's go with that. 6 weeks or less. And we're gonna say that you haven't had that conversation, but y'all is, kicking it hard and, spending most of your free dating time with each other. Let's just make those grand assumptions. Feel free to write me or post under the video if I am wrong. So I'm going to say this, without that conversation and without that kind of commitment, all you have to do to get the message to him is start dating other people. When he says, "Oh, let's go out this and that," sorry, I haven't, I'm otherwise involved. I'm booked up. I'm unavailable. Okay. And he's going to ask you at some point, are you seeing someone else? And all you have to do is say yes. And then he's going to say, well, why? And you're going to say, well, because even though I enjoy you, when I really was out here, I wasn't trying to really find anybody to be in a relationship with. I mean, I happened to meet you who's a good quality dude and all that kind of stuff. And if you didn't have all them kids, we could probably make something happen. But I ain't trying to be nobody's stepmama. I'm not trying to be a babysitter. I'm not trying to be nothing. So I enjoy being with you, but that's where it has to stop because I'm not trying to get in too deep like that to where you're going to be trying to, make me a part of your family and all this old stuff right here. We ain't going to do that. So that's one way to do it because it puts a very clear boundary up and it lets him know right off the bat. If she's seeing other men, then that means she's not, what she's saying, she's backing up with action. And that's the problem I think with a lot of women is they say one thing, but then they do something else. And so it sends a mixed message and the guy doesn't really know which one they mean. So by you date, and if you're not dating other people, make sure you start. Okay. Because by the time that conversation happens, it needs to be true where you going out with other people and you ain't always available, be looking at him and his kids. Okay. I don't know. I'm just saying. Oh yeah, I know little Michelle. Michelle's my protege. I just don't see any reason for this, but that's how I would handle it. And so then like I said, it's very clear. It puts boundaries in place. It doesn't look like you tried to play him or anything like that. You guys don't have that kind of status in your relationship. So it's very easy to just slide that in the conversation. And then if he should act like shocked and surprised, say, well, we never had a conversation, play that shit like men do. We never had that conversation. I never told you that I was your girlfriend and you was my man. I never introduced you as my boyfriend. That's the same stuff men do. And so you just do it right back. Let us move on to question number 2. This is a young man in the 21 to 25 age group. Oh, it says no location was provided. I need to make that a mandatory field. I just wanted to get your thoughts on this to see if I am right to be annoyed. So me and my friend groups had tickets to an event this weekend and I paid for them. We didn't reach any agreement on this chick paying me back as she earns less than me. And I'd be happy to take a few drinks as payment back instead. Okay. So you wasn't looking to just give them to her for nothing, but you were negotiable what she giving you was negotiable. That sounds fair. However, yesterday her boyfriend tested positive for COVID, which meant she needed to get a PCR test done too. She still hadn't received her results by this morning and said she can't make it. Fair enough. Just the unfortunate times we are currently living in. But then I mentioned the tickets and what I should do. And all she said was, yeah, not really sure what you can do about that. There was no sorry or her even offering to pay for her ticket or even a portion of it. Obviously, in hindsight, I should have asked her to pay me back as soon as I bought the tickets. But I think it's just rude and ungrateful that she didn't even seem bothered that I was out of pocket. We're good friends since high school, and I don't want this to drive a wedge between us. But it is a bit annoying that she didn't seem to give a flying F that I lost out on all that money. She even went on to say, well, my boyfriend had something booked and he's missed out on that. I was thinking sarcastically, well, that makes everything okay then? I would welcome your thoughts. Dude, okay. You just gonna have to eat this. You know why? You didn't handle your business. Like you said, if you were going to, even if you were going to front her half of it, you should have got your money right away. Then you give her the ticket so that however she going to get there, that's how she gets there. But you give her the ticket and you get your money. Better yet, see, Mama said you get the money in advance of it from everybody and then you buy the ticket. That's how I do it. Because I don't want no drama. I had that happen to me one time with a friend. I bought some tickets to what's the name of that place? Well, I think it was Yoshi's, but it was when Yoshi's was still in Emeryville before they moved to whatever it was. Anyway, some kind of jazz spot. I think it was Yoshi's. Anyway, they moved to down to Jack London. So this was a long time ago. And they had a show place there. And or maybe it wasn't Yoshi's. What was the name of that place? In the Emeryville Center. But anyway, whatever the name was, anyway, they had a show there and it was going to be, I think it was Peebo Bryson and somebody else, Shaka Khan or something. I don't know, some people that we want to see. And so I, got the tickets. I put the tickets on the, my credit card and stuff. And so she was supposed to give me the money when I picked her up. Well, I'm on my way to her house. And then she calls me, tells me, oh, I don't feel like going. And that same thing happened where she, so I went by myself. I mean, I wasn't wasting 2 tickets. But still, in the end, after that, I sat there and I thought about it. And I'm like, okay, I will never do that again. Because the tickets were like $65 each. It's not cheap. And, with two tickets, I think it included 2 drinks or was 2 drinks minimums or whatever. So then, it was just going to be a lot that I was going to be out of. And I decided then and there that I was never going to do that again with anybody, especially her. So anytime she wanted to go somewhere in the future, I said, well, you get the tickets and then I'll give you the money. And she's like, well, why we have to do it? That's because of the way you fucked me over the last time. And she goes, that was years ago. I'm like, oh, yeah, but I'm still salty about it. So we're not doing that because I still out of $65. It's like, she had given me the money, then I would be quiet. But she didn't. So whatever. I just thought that was rude, You feeling that lesson too, Sue? I'm telling you. So I don't do that anymore. So, dude, that's what you're going to have to just be like me. You're just going to have to eat it. And that's just the way it is. And then you figure out how to do it a different way like I did. Subsequent to that. But obviously, since you paid for them and you absorbed that cost for everyone, you could afford it just like I could afford it. I didn't want to afford it, but I could. And so I just took it as a valuable lesson for myself not to be that dumb again. And so that I didn't. Just one of them things. Let's move on. Question number 3. This is a female in the 21 to 25 age group from London. I need advice about how to be more assertive in my role as an administrator. I recently started working in an office in London, and I'm the only administrator after the previous women left. I work for 2 men who I think are quite good at being more upfront and ballsy on the phone. The problem is that whilst, I just love how they say that, whilst I'm getting more opportunities to handle situations at work, I feel I struggle being assertive or demanding on the phone. I don't like calling people up to give them a hard time and making their day horrible, but I want to be able to do that without feeling like I'm being mean. Do you or the squad have any advice about how to be more assertive without coming across as angry or rude? Thank you. I wish you gave some more information about like how you calling these people and giving them a hard time about what? I mean, what's your job? What do you do? What does your company do? You just left out some really vital information. You calling these people. I mean, what kind of stuff are you saying to them? What you trying to get them to do? Pay a bill? I mean, orders? I mean, what? What? You didn't give me any information. So it's the kind of thing I don't know what to tell you about how to be more assertive on the phone because I don't know what we're talking about. Usually I complain because they be going on and just giving way too much information. And then I stood on the chair and then I said this and then a bird flew by and that bird was blue. And then I saw the bird pick up a worm and then the flowers that the bird landed on were yellow. And, they just be giving like way too much detail. And this young lady, okay, I'm going to skip this letter and I'm going to suggest that you figure you heard what you wrote. Okay, that's not enough detail. I need you to write me back. You can put, we'll look at your letter for the next column or something and give more detail about what your work entails. What is it that you're calling these people for? What kind of script did the job give you to use? They always give you one. If you're making telephone calls, they always give you one. What's going on? What was the point of these calls? You didn't give me any information. So I have to put this over here and we're going to move on to the next letter. Question number 4. This is a male in the 26 to 30 age group from Jacksonville, Florida. Hi, my name is Chris. Oh, usually we don't. Okay. I'm 26 and I'm in a 4-year relationship. My girlfriend is 24 and we have been living together for 2 years and I haven't had sleep since. She snores really loud. Deb, I mean really loud. He put that in bolds and caps and underline. I've had to sleep with snoring people many times and I can basically sleep through anything. And I had no trouble falling asleep with snoring people in the room. My girlfriend, however, snores really loud. It's crazy. I've tried wearing noise canceling headphones and having some peaceful noises on max volume, and still she snores over it. When she goes to bed early and I'm in the living room watching TV, I can hear her snore. I've tried many, many things. Those gadgets you can wear to prevent snoring either don't work or she takes it out or off in her sleep. I've tried many things to drown out the noise. We have followed advice that doctors have given us. We don't really have the cash to do any kind of surgery, so I'm at a roadblock. I love her so much and she really makes me happy, but I hate sleeping in the same bed as her so much because I get maybe 2 hours of sleep. So I told her when we buy a house or rent another house, I think it's best that I get my own bedroom so that I can have more sleep. But she doesn't really like the idea. She finds it odd for a couple not to share a bed. So I wonder what you think of my idea. If you have some advice for me. I had one boyfriend who snored like that. We broke up. I can't do it. I am such a light sleeper like that. I wake up at every sound. Maybe that's, the mother part of me because, you're sleeping right, but you're listening with one ear for that baby. So, like my daughter would be in her little crib. She goes, that baby sound they make. That thing, I will wake up. And, because it just sounds like something something getting ready to happen. Something going to be wrong. So I wake up and I'm still like that. I'll still wake up. And if I hear weird noise or something, I wake up. But I could not deal with this. And that dude was snoring. He sounded like he was sawing logs and geese was honking and pigs was snorting and cows were braying. And it was like everybody all in one. I just couldn't take it. I needed any sleep. That one night that I spent with him, that was it. I couldn't do it. Can't do it. My ears are too sensitive. So what I would say, I think your solution is a good one, but I'm kind of concerned. You better need to when you guys get your new house, put some soundproofing in the room that she's going to be sleeping in to keep that noise in that room. You can get the foam kind that you put holes in the wall. It's like insulation / soundproofing, or you can get what I have in here, like these foam noise absorbing panels that you put up. They look like egg crates, but they're made out of foam, and you put them up on the wall, and it kind of absorbs sound instead of having it bounce off the walls. You might have to do something like that. They also have noise panels that you can buy. They're kind of expensive though, that look like artwork, but it's the same thing. They absorb sound. And then in your room, you might want to do the same thing. So it'll help keep her sounds out. But that's the you. I think your solution is a sane one. The only thing that you can do after that is either break up or y'all have separate houses. I mean, I don't know what to tell you, but still, if you're a couple, you're gonna want to spend at least some nights together. So that I think would be, the good. You guys spend time cuddling, talking, and doing what you're gonna do, and then as soon as she goes to sleep, you get up and go to your room so you can get some shut eye. I mean, that's an unhealthy thing to not have any sleep. 2 hours of sleep for years and years. Like, I don't know how you doing it. How you do it? Thank you, Alexis. I don't know. I'm really shocked that you could make it that long with no sleep. Wow. Question number 5, female, 225 from San Jose, California. My question is about finding my voice, I guess. I need advice about how do I tell someone to stop touching me? I'm currently doing clinical rotations for school. At the place I'm at, there's a supervisor who's very touchy. Every time he comes in and says hi to me personally, he rubs my shoulder or back. Yesterday, he did it while I was looking under a microscope, and then again when I got up and he came into the department. This time, I kind of moved my shoulder before he could, and he apologized, so I thought that was the end of it. Today, though, I was once again looking under the microscope and I heard him come in and say hi to everyone. I was busy, so I didn't look up. And he rubbed my freaking back again. I haven't really noticed if he's like that with everyone, women or men, but I'll try to pay attention to that tomorrow since I know what time he usually comes in. So my question is this: how do I tell him to stop without making it weird? I know it should be an easy, please don't touch me, but I don't want to come off as aggressive. I'm getting to the point where I just want to avoid him so he doesn't even have the chance to touch me. Find your fucking voice. This is stupid. You 21 to 25 years old and you running like you 5 from a man. You a grown ass woman. That's not how you handle yourself. And you think that this him little rubbing your back and shoulders is a big deal? This is nothing compared to what you're going to get once you get out of school and get into the workforce. Men are fucking animals. Okay. So let me explain something to you, girl. This is some bullshit that the way you handling yourself right here. That's why he keeps doing it, because you're not doing nothing. You're just sitting there all timid and stupid, like you don't know what to do or how to do it, and you so worried about it's gonna be weird, or I don't want to be aggressive. You need to be aggressive. That's exactly what you need to do. When he comes in, instead of being busy and stuff, you hear the man come in, you hear him start saying stuff to people, prepare yourself. You stand up, you face the direction that he's coming to. And when he gets too close, you say, I want you to back up and I want you to stop putting your hands on me. I want you to maintain a certain professionalism while I'm in your class. And that means you are not going to rub my back and you're not going to touch my body in any way, shape, or form. Stop it right now. I want you to stop. Okay, he will stop. The other thing is, by doing that in front of everybody, he's put on notice and he's embarrassed. Okay, so chances are he won't do this, and everybody's gonna be looking at him. Every time he comes near you, the whole class is gonna be watching what he does. That's what you want. That's your defense right there. Then after he gets that notice, should he put his hands on you again, you go immediately to the dean and you say, in class on this day at this time, I publicly told him to keep his hands off of me. He consists on doing it anyway. I want to file a sexual harassment charge. That's what you do. Okay, this little bullshit here, this little running away, hiding like a little mouse shit right here, this kind of stuff will get you all kinds of problems in the real world. You're a young lady, okay, which is going to be a woman. You cannot afford to respond to nasty ass men like this. Okay, this just sets you up to be a victim, eternal victim, because it's like you're too afraid to say anything to check a motherfucker. And so that's all they want to do is be predators, and you sitting up there just, letting them do it. Now, keep in mind, I'm not saying that this is your fault. But I am saying it is your fault for not saying something. Okay. being nice, talking about I don't want to come off as aggressive. I would have cussed his ass outright by about now. Let me tell you how this would have went if it was me. Okay, I'm in class. I'm a student because I was worse than I am now, believe it or not. I would punch people because my job I had at my this summer job I had, I was like 19 years old. And this guy made this comment and to touch my breast, I hauled off and knocked the fuck out of him right there in the trading room. Before I could even think about it, I just stepped back, just like my brother taught me, and right in his jaw. Fucked him all kinds of up. And so it's the kind of and I thought about it after like, oh no, I guess I'm gonna be fired after this. But they, I still worked there every summer. While I was in school, I still went there every summer. But it taught everybody a lesson because that whole trading room got quiet, full of white men. And I'm the only black one. And I'm the youngest. And he thought he could just do that to me right in front of everybody. I tried to break that motherfucker's jaw. Okay. And so let me just see how this would have went. Okay. So you in school and he comes up to you and he's talking, right? So he's talking and then he's going to come by and he's going to grab your shoulder. I would take his hand and I would fling it forcefully off and say, stop touching me. Okay. That's number one. So then he gonna, come up and he wanna rub on your back. I would turn around and I would kick him, or I would elbow him because I had to do that to this little pervert who was trying to rub his dick on my butt one time on the bus, and I had a tripod, a Bogan. It's this brand called Bogan. Those things were so heavy, and I forgot what I was doing. But anyway, and they have like spikes on the end of them that you can so that they sit down in dirt and it doesn't slide, right? And so I did the little things like that. And so he did the first time. I'm like, okay. So I got the little things ready. I took the covers off. So the spikes and they're about this long. And then I'm holding it like this under my arm. And he kind of, there's plenty of room on the bus. So he wanted to be right behind me and stuff. I took that tripod and I jammed it into his side with them spikes as hard as I could. That motherfucker was like, ah! And then he moved down the bus like he should have, like he had some fucking sense. So I don't play those kind of games. I'm glad you wrote to me, but I'm telling you right now, you're still a student. You better figure this out and you better stop running scared because every time they see they can make you scared and intimidate you, they're going to up the ante. The next thing he's going to be reaching around, standing behind you, rubbing his dick on you and grabbing your titties and stuff. That's what's going to happen. That's where this is headed. Because you're not doing anything. And the main thing to do is do it in public so that he is publicly humiliated and brought to down on the carpet in front of everybody. Stop worrying about his feelings and you being quote aggressive and weird and all this kind of stuff. You put too much importance on what a motherfucker thinks and what these other people think than what you think about yourself and your body and protecting yourself. And that doesn't make any goddamn sense to me. I just don't understand this. This is, where mothers and parents fail their daughters. You got to give them tools so they know how to do stuff like this. I tell you, my daughter, somebody stole her bicycle, right? And she's walking down the street and she sees the dude riding her bicycle. She went up to the dude, kicked him off her bicycle, jumped on and rode it home. And she's like, Mom, I found my bike. I'm like, what happened? And she told me the story. And she was still like all, she's lighter than me. And she like all still kind of red and everything. It was all huffing and stuff. And she's a skinny little thing, but she was full of adrenaline. And she just like did one of them Super Saiyan kicks on dude and kicked him off of that bicycle and took it. Because I told her, I'm not buying you another one. I paid a few $100s for that used. And it's a really nice, like a racer bike. So I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. And she saw that dude, little raggedy ass white boy, right? Like one of them homeless looking type of people. And she took her bike back. And she still has it too. Yeah, you got to not be afraid of men, especially when you're the one in the right. You don't be afraid of them. Question number 6, female, 30 to 35 from Sheffield in the UK. I met a man from a dating site and we chatted over text and a few phone calls for about 2 weeks. He was a bit intense from the start, telling me about his childhood and the fact that he was abused by his family and is now no contact with them. We had agreed to meet up this weekend, but a few days ago we had a little fight. It started when he used a word in conversation that's offensive. It's a slur against disabled people. And as a close member of my family is disabled, I respectfully said I was uncomfortable with that word. He isn't from this country, so I thought maybe it was just a language barrier. I expected him to say okay and move on, but instead he took it personally. He began arguing over text, accusing me of thinking I could tell adults what to say. And I said I was overly sensitive. I stopped talking to him. He texted an hour later telling me that I was petty and creating unnecessary drama. When I explained that I wasn't sure this would work out because of his reaction, he left me a long voicemail. In it, he said, I take myself way too seriously. I'm dysfunctional and single for a reason. He then said, he then said he could accept my negative traits of my character and that unlike me, he isn't ruthless and tries to fix people rather than turn his back on them like me. Yesterday, he messaged to ask if we could still meet as he still really likes me and feels that this is all a mistake or a misunderstanding. He wants to put it behind him as he doesn't think that what he said was that bad. He tried to use this bad childhood as an excuse, saying that he doesn't deal with being accused or rejected and he needs someone who loves and understands him as he is damaged. He seems to think things will be different if we meet in person. I'm not going to meet him. This situation ruined my week and I'm still upset about it. I feel like this man completely overreacted and criticized me unfairly. I've deleted the dating apps as this experience has put me off meeting men that I don't know. I feel so disappointed as I'm getting on well with him before this, and he seemed to be nice. Is this something that happens a lot with online dating? Because I don't seem to have good experiences. You're not going to have good experiences because your ass is too judgmental. In this one situation, you flipped the fuck out about one word. You're not the one that's disabled. How's he supposed to know you have a family member that's disabled and he's all got psychic superpowers and knows that you're gonna get upset about somebody's lingo? If somebody's gonna get upset about that kind of shit with me, they would be upset 24 fucking 7. Because you know what? I'm gonna say what the hell I want to say because I'm grown. You don't have to like it, but you're not gonna correct me. And that's how he feels that same way. I'm gonna say what the fuck I want to say. You don't like it, you don't have to like it. But you're not going to try to tell me what I can't say. And that's where he is with it. And I don't blame him. So for you, you need to learn some tolerance. Okay? You need to learn some tolerance because everybody ain't you, Karen. Okay, everybody's not you. People don't see things the way that you do. And I could see if he was saying this and he was doing, you asked him, not to say that about you. Okay, and you were the one that's disabled, but obviously he would see that you were the one that was disabled, and so he most likely would have chosen some other words. But you talked about some relative don't nobody even know, ain't seen, and you probably don't even see him that well yourself, that much yourself. But you charge him with a crime for using most likely a very common word that a lot of people use. You just find it offensive or some uncomfortable or whatever. Nobody gives a shit about your comfort. All you had to do was roll with it. And then later at some moment you could have talked about your disabled relative and how you feel like the correct lingo is this or that or blah, blah, blah. And then he probably would have been more receptive to it. But the way you came at him, like, no, you're not going to say that to me and all this old stuff here. I would have dumped you. He was good. He was good. He must have really liked you because I would have cussed your bitch ass out. And then you wouldn't have to worry about blocking me because I would have blocked you. Question number 7, female, 225 from Chicago. I'm just like, these people something's wrong with you. That's why I called her Karen, because that's how they be thinking. That everybody thinks like them. Everybody has the same feelings, the same history, the same interests, the same, that they have these privileges, that other people don't have and all this kind of stuff. And they want to sit up there and judge and charge you with crimes for not being like the way that they want you to be, not giving them what they want, not liking what they like and all this kind of stuff. And see, I'm just like, fuck you and your disabled relative. How about that? And she probably said cripple. He probably said cripple or something. And she got all offended. And you know me, once I found out that it hurt her feelings, I would have been like, everything out of my mouth would have been, yeah, them crippled motherfuckers and this and that. And so's got one leg and them got them T-Rex arms. These are crippled. His arms are fucked up. I would have said all kind of stuff just to make her mad. You know why? Because she played her hand. And she showed me her weakness. And so now I'm going to use it against you. And I'm going to hurt every feeling you ever had. As long as you stay on the phone or in my face, I'm going to keep saying it just because I can. Now, that's the kind of heifer I am. Don't tell me some shit like that. I'm going to go in on you and I'm going to hurt your feelings for the next 10 minutes. Let's move on. Question number 7, female 2025 from Chicago. I'm stressed out again, Auntie. I noticed that my new boyfriend keeps on checking what I'm going to wear whenever we're going out. It's fine with me, but what's stressing me is that he would always say that, isn't that too tight or short? Or he would say, wear this and not that. What? Your new boyfriend? I never even wear sexy clothes. I always make sure that I would wear decent, pretty clothes for him. I'm not comfortable and confident anymore to wear anything because I'm worried about what he's going to say. I cannot choose what I want. And she put some kind of little face here. I don't know what this is. What should I do? You should dump him. That's what you should do. You should dump him because, see, again, another young lady that does not have her voice and does not have boundaries and does not stand up for herself. With the first time he says, isn't that too tight or short? You were supposed to say, no, it's not tight or short enough. Actually, I was trying to wear something that I thought would be, would make you feel better, but obviously it don't. So guess what? I'm going to wear it anyway, and you just going to deal with it. And then he would have said, oh, and then you would have never had that problem again. But most likely you were like, oh, is it? Oh, should I change? And all that, and feed into his control freak attitude. That's not how you handle men. Soon as they start trying to complain about anything that you do that you like, that's for you, that's on your body, where your money was spent for it, it's your clothes, it's your property, it's your pet, it's your anything. It's yours. Okay? You are the only one that gets to decide whether it's good enough. Now, he don't like it, then motherfucker go over there and date some granny look dressing bitch instead of me. That's all you got to do. Get somebody who likes to wear them long, flowy dresses and look like a damn Mormon. That's what you need to do. But don't be trying to change me and the way I wear. I was wearing this when you met me, motherfucker, and I'ma still be wearing it when your ass is gone. As a matter of fact, let me go put on something even more hoochie. Yeah. I remember when I was dating my husband. Wait, I had this. Okay, this is I was working. My body was cute, trim. I wore like a size 8, but I still had. Okay. So I bought this jumpsuit, and it had like the belly, the stomach was out, and then it had like like a bra, it covered like what a bra would cover, but the tummy was out, and it was real low cut, right? Showed your cleavage and stuff. And then what was the back like? I think the back was just plain, but it was sleeveless and it fit. It was like a cat suit kind of thing, right? So I put that sucker on. I was fine as fuck. And then I put my little heels on and stuff, and I was working that thing. So I bought it, right? So he's like, oh, you went shopping? I said, yeah, let me see what I bought. So I put it on, right? And he sees it, and I could see him swallow, and he's doing his eyes like this because I think he was imagining what other men would think or say when I went in this outfit. So he was up there like, so where are you going to wear that? I said, wherever the fuck I want to. It just came right out. And he was just looking at it. Well, don't you think it shows a lot? I said, yeah, it does. And that's why I bought it. Because that's what I want. And then he just sat there looking like sad. Like he knew better than to say anything else. And guess what? I wore that. I go out with my girlfriends and stuff, not with him. And I wore it then. I was just out there on the dance floor. Honey, belly all out. Tatas, cleavage. I'm just gigging, just having myself a good old time with my little cat suit, bending over, shaking my ass, just acting a fool. Why? Because I could, because I'm grown. I'm telling you, I used to have a lot of hoochie clothes, But then, they want to complain about what you wear and stuff. And it's like, that's why they was talking to you, because you was cute. Okay. It's like, you're going to get with somebody who's cute, and then you're going to be mad and be trying to like change it to be somebody like homie girl. No, that ain't me. Oh yeah, I'm a mess. I tell you, I know. Man, if I could have just go back in time with the knowledge I have now, back to those days, I would have never got married. I mean, he was a great guy. Don't get me wrong. He's a wonderful man, but I still wouldn't have married him. Wouldn't have had no kids. And I would be in Europe somewhere living off of some rich white boy for the rest of my life. But probably I wouldn't have married him either. That would have been my lifestyle. Let's move on. Question number 8. This is a male, 26 to 30 from Atlanta. Should I break up with this female? Oh, not that word. Because she refuses to get tested. I have been dating this girl for 3 months now, and just over 3 weeks ago, during the being intoxicated, I had unprotected for the first time. A week later, I developed a rash, and oh shit. And 2 weeks later, I got a sore throat. Since then, I have been freaking out because these are symptoms of HIV. Oh, damn. Shut up, Leandra. What's wrong with that girl? I have to wait 6 weeks to be tested due to the window period. When I asked this girl to get tested, she said she felt insulted. She said no guy should tell a girl what to do with her body. And she said by asking her, I view her as some B who has been sleeping around with guys. Now, the last time this girl got tested was a year ago. And since then, she has dated multiple guys. And she always prefers to have eggplant without a condom. Is it wrong of me to break up with her because she refused to get tested as a deal breaker for me? No, you monkey ass fool. You were supposed to do that as soon as she told you that she fools around and it doesn't use protection. That's when you were supposed to break up with her. You don't break up with her after you've already contracted the disease. You idiot. I swear, men just be thinking with their wee-wees instead of their brain. And I mean, in a certain sense, she's right because you told her to get tested. Okay, so the test comes back and it's positive. What you gonna do? What difference is it gonna make to you? Because you already got it now. Or it comes back and it's negative. What you gonna do? What, go raw and again? Just double down? So, any way that I look at this, the fact that she revealed her practices to you and you see that she doesn't have any kind of good sense to protect herself and she dibbing and dabbing all over the place, that is alone should have told you, okay, this is not a safe bet, not only for the pregnancy aspect, but for the disease aspect. Let me leave this bitch alone. That's what you were supposed to do. But is that what you did? No. Instead, you went dibbing dabbing in there and playing these kind of roulettes, and then you want to get mad at her for what you did to yourself. Whatever happens, you did that to yourself. Okay, because you had full knowledge of what was going on with this girl, and you did it anyway. So I can't tell you nothing. I can't be sympathetic. I can't tell you anything. You just going whatever happens, you better hope the test is negative and that you got some little virus or something like that. Because there's a lot of things that could cause a rash and that it doesn't always have to be HIV. But if it is, you better start your medication, your treatments and shit as soon as possible. Question number 9. This is a male, 21 to 25 in the UK. The other day, me and my girlfriend were arguing and eventually it got heated. And I put my hand on her shoulder to try and comfort her and calm her down. But she slapped me hard enough to leave a sting and a mark. And then she stamped on my foot and walked off. She apologized later, but blamed it on me putting my hands on her and said that she regrets it. I told her it's never appropriate to hit your partner and that is wrong. It's very upsetting to have to deal with this. I really don't know how to handle it. Thank you for any guidance you can provide. You break up. I know what you're talking about because you do that when people are, upset and you're close to them. I've done that to like my brothers, my daughter, you touch somebody on the shoulder, you're doing like this, trying to get them to, to calm down. Sometimes you rub their back, you touch their shoulder. That is a standard kind of thing that people do. And then that universal symptom of, calm down, it's going to be all right. It's like a sympathy thing. Okay. So if that really is what you did, then I totally understand. I've seen people do that thousands of times. But she, we don't know what her history is as far as men putting their hands on her. She could just be that, she was triggered by the fact that your hand was reaching towards her while you guys were in the middle of an argument. So she reacted to that, not to just the fact that you just put your hand there. So, but to me, somebody reacting that strongly over you just touching them is, I don't know. Like if I had a dude who did some shit like that to me, I would have walked off with my stuff and it would be over. So would I say that same thing to you? Absolutely. This has now established a precedent in your relationship of violence. She apologized, but I don't give a fuck. You can apologize till your lips fall off. You know what I mean? Yeah, if he's being honest and we don't know, I can only go by what people say. I'm not a mind reader. I'm not a psychic. I can't look into the past and see instant replays and stuff like that. But, the way he describes it, I've seen that gesture thousands of times, even in movies and stuff, people do that. It's a universal human gesture for, providing sympathy, support, um, calm, soothe, that's what this touch here means. So, yeah, I can't tell you to stay in a situation where she loses control like that and, be slapping on folks and stomping feet and stuff. I mean, it's one thing to slap you, but she took it to step 2 where she was gonna stomp on your foot and shit. So now you can't walk and your face is fucked up. I'd be done. Question number 10. This is a female in the 46 to 55 age group from Germany. Oh, hi, Miss Deb. I would really appreciate your advice on this situation. I recently started a new job after being single for about a year. I was intending to stay single for a while, but then my new colleague, who is also my supervisor at work, I can already see where this is going, and it's going in a bad direction. Totally struck me. I feel insane chemistry. From what I have seen, he is an amazing person in my age group, very respectful. It seems that he likes me too. I gave him signs that I'm interested to get to know him more, and I even try to hide it. I can't even try to hide it, she says. My body language just says it all. I smile at him and talk to him while also trying to keep my frame. I also love working with him. I'm attractive and much younger looking. I would love to date him. He is single as far as I know. He hasn't mentioned any partner, only an ex, but it did not sound like he is hanging on to that. How can I be sure that he's not just holding back because of the work situation? How can I build trust without chasing him? What can I do to get a date with him? I know you usually suggest to not date people at work, but I do not often meet men that I like. What should I do? Thanks a lot. You is going to fuck yourself up. That's what you about to do. You don't know anything about this man, and you just getting yourself all worked up. Just because he has an ex and he's not mentioning that he has somebody to you doesn't mean that he doesn't. Why don't you ask around discreetly? See if other people know what's going on with Home Skillet. Because he could be just sniffing at you because he smells an opportunity to tap some ass, and he still has his girlfriend, his live-in person, his baby mama. You don't know what's going on with dude. You just putting all kinds of carts in front of the horse. The second thing is, you're right, not to date people at work. So if you decide that you two, if the coast is clear, you just decide that you want to date, you need to go find another job. That's what you need to do. You just started there, so surely your resume and stuff is still out there in circulation. You just pick up some other opportunity. This is not a good thing, especially for someone who just started at a company. You're going to get a reputation. Okay. And if other women know anything about him and they see you sniffing after him like as hard as you make it sound like you are here, that's going to look very bad for you. You're going to get a label as being like, trifling, easy, hoish, desperate, all that kind of stuff. None of that is flattering when you have to depend on other women for support in your office. I suggest you tread very carefully here and rein all this shit in. Okay, rein it in. Well, I don't know if he smells desperation, but he smells an opportunity. When women come that hard, no matter, he's not going to tell you what he's got going on because he wants to tap that ass. And he sees the opportunity to do it. And at work, he knows he can tell you, well, we need to be discreet so that nobody else knows what's happening. He can tell you that and you would go along with it because it's true. You are at work. He's like, it's not good for everyone to know. And you'd be like, yeah, you're right. And so he'd be able to fuck you at work and then go home and have his woman and his baby mama, whatever he's got going on at there too. That's what would happen. You're doing too much. You need to slow your roll. She just throwing herself at him. This is not a good look for a new employee. This is not good at all. I don't know if they have any kind of probationary periods like they do here, but a lot of times they be looking at you not just on how you do your work, but how you conduct yourself. And if the wrong people see you acting like this around this man and you just started there, you're going to fuck yourself over and be out of a job. I suggest you rethink this. Question number 11, female, 21 to 25 from Edmonton, Canada. I am 23 and I really love my dad and my big brother, early 60s and early 30s, respectively, very much. They are good people, but we don't have the strongest of relationships. I think we don't have a truly good relationship because of inequality in our conversations. I make lots of room for people to talk about their hobbies and interests. My brother and my dad, on the other hand, don't even feign interest in what I'm talking about or what they find interesting. Or just talk about what they find interesting in the topic I'm discussing without listening to my thoughts. For example, anytime my dad starts to talk politics, I politely listen. I hate politics. We have the same views, but it's always the same spiel. When I try to engage and discuss, he'll cut me off, tell me why I'm wrong, spin it into a lecture or something like that. Same with his hobbies. If I want to spend time with him, I have to listen to his interests, and it's never about mine. I went to school for literature, and if I talk about a favorite of mine, he'll interject and ask me if I read something of his favorites, and then that's the whole conversation. I've heard so much about model helicopter flying today, but I have zero interest. But I watch videos, I listen, I ask questions. He will leave the room if I put videos on of things I'm interested in. Any conversation with my brother's about him. All of his gifts to me are things he likes. I'm not sure he can name a hobby of mine. He still thinks I like video games, but I haven't played them since I was in high school. How do I politely change this? Is it even worth it? Why do you have to do it politely? I'm not hearing any kind of consideration from these two men towards you at all. None. I'm trying to wonder why you continue to listen to them. If you start talking about something, okay, you talking about something, and he switches the conversation over to what he's talking about, you get up and you walk the fuck out the room. That's what you do. You don't sit there and be a captive audience of his soliloquy. You get up and you walk out the room. And if you want to, you could be like me and say, this is a boring conversation. I'm leaving now. But otherwise, you could just get up and walk out. Sometimes it's good, though, to tell them why you're going. So if you hit them with that, you're boring, they'll be like, oh, sputtering because they can't, don't like to believe that they are. But yeah, as far as him giving you gifts, things you like, give them back to him and say, you bought this for yourself, not for me. I haven't been interested in this shit since I was in high school. What are you doing? Do you even know what I like? Do you even care? Do you even ask me? You're the worst brother in the world. So, stuff like that. You heard about model helicopters and flying and stuff. I would be walked out the room. I don't want to hear this shit. It's boring as hell. I hope your helicopter crashes into a tree. Then I won't have to hear this conversation. Actually, hearing about the crash would probably be more interesting. Stuff like that. And then you watch videos and you ask questions and stuff. What would you do all that for? Invest your time in yourself. You don't invest energy in what they talking about. Sounds like they have enough energy invested for 17 people on themselves. Shit, I wouldn't even have to, fake a yawn. I would just be like, oh, goddamn, this is putting me to sleep. This is boring, some boring shit. Y'all like boring shit. And get up and walk the fuck out. I don't see why it's such a big deal. But yeah, that crashing into the tree thing sounds kind of interesting. I'd want to film that shit. I want to put that on YouTube. Put it on the gram. Me flying my dad's helicopter into a tree. Sounds interesting. Okay, question number 12, especially his reaction, that would be just priceless. Question number 12, female 26 to 30 from Memphis. A friend came around last night and we got to talking about someone we know who just got married. Friend said to me, when is your turn? To which my man said, I've told her I'll propose when she loses weight. He said that? Wow. He had said this to me in the past, but I let it go over my head at the time. But as he has said it again, he must really mean it, which hurts a lot. I'm in two minds as to whether I am overreacting. One part of me thinks it may be his way of trying to spur me on to lose weight. And in his mind, he thinks he's giving me a kick up the butt to try to be helpful. Or whether he's being a total dick and I should consider if I want to be with him, let alone marry him. What do you think? I wouldn't marry him. Because, okay, it's one thing for him to say, something to you privately about your weight. He's going to wait until you get around someone and he's going to publicly humiliate you in front of people. That takes shit to a whole new level as far as I'm concerned. And there's no excusing that. And there's no coming back from that. Once you do something like that to me, we're done here, sir. It's a wrap. It's over. See, my thing is, and my friends throughout my life have not really understood me. And I've been like this all my life. You do something to fuck over me, I'm done. I don't have no interest in you. My feelings turn off like a switch. I'm so serious. I would be like fine with you 10 minutes ago, but you did or said some shit that just tried to hurt me. And it's like, I don't know. It's seriously, it's like a switch flips and I don't care about you anymore. I don't want to look at you. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. I don't want to smell you. I don't give a fuck about you. I erase memory banks about you, all kind of stuff. I'm just done. And so that's what would have happened here. And I know it sounds like you live with dude. I would be looking for me a place to move out of. You don't let somebody embarrass and humiliate you like that. I'll propose when you lose weight. You're supposed to say, well, I don't really want you to propose to me because I'm nobody trying to marry you. I tolerate you, but I'm not trying to be married to you because then I'll be stuck with your ass forever. This way, as soon as I get sick of you and your shit, I can pack my shit and walk out the door because I'm not tied to you like that. See, that's how you shut shit down like that. You just, he trying to make it seem like he's holding this carrot out on a stick and it's so deliciously wonderful for him to be married to his ass. And I don't want that. I'm not trying to be married to you. You confused. You got some shit twisted. Marriage to you, like that's like a prize? That's a threat. Shit, let me eat another donut. Make sure that you don't get that shit happening here. I don't know. These men get on my fucking nerves. Question number 13. This is a female in the 37 to 45 age group from Washington, D.C. Hi, Deb. Love the channel. I'm a 39-year-old physician of Asian American descent. I'm only interested in men of my ethnicity/religion. Oh, I wonder what it is. I know you keep saying get in where you fit in, but I'm just not attracted to men of other ethnicities at all. It's hard to meet men, never been a forte of mine, but I always seem to attract dusty nignogs. Welcome to my world. A white guy, some look good in real life and online. These are my issues. Number one, some call me racist because of my dating preferences. It's annoying. I tried polite retorts, but I need some dead firepower to squash the undesirables from bugging me. So what comes to mind? Okay, let me read all of it, then I'll go back to it. Number two, how do I find guys I really do want? When I reach out to them online, they all have been ignoring me. It's almost like, seems like God's joke. And it's been this way even when I was in college. So it's not an age thing. It also not a looks thing because the one who do reach out to me to keep complimenting me on my face and perks like I'm an exotic bird. Number three, why are men of other ethnicities interested in me? Is there a way to deter this attention? Okay, let's start with the last one first. They're interested in you because right now, being an Asian, having an Asian girlfriend is like a thing. Okay, it's a thing. You got to realize what you up against, even though you're obviously Americanized and you're a doctor, so you're almost 40 years old, so it's not like you're a little kid or anything. You have to understand the racism that's going on because even though it's presented like it's you're desirable, what it really is a fetish. Okay, they're fetishizing you and all the women who look like you. So they're not looking at you as a woman who just happens to be Asian, from an Asian country and Asian descent. They're not looking at you. They're looking at you like, oh, I have this blank ease, Japanese, Korean, whatever you are. You don't say, you just say you're from Asian descent. They're looking at, that like a feather in their cap. A lot of guys even have this thing where they want to sleep with women of every different kind of race. They want a black girl. They want a, Asian woman. They want a Latina. They want, someone from Africa. They want, like a Middle Eastern girl with the whole thing. They have this thing like it's going to be different. like women's bodies are different or something because by race. It's just real bizarre. I know it sounds crazy, but a lot of men actually do think like that. It's just real stupid. So that's one aspect, okay? And then you got to look at the stereotypes connected with Asian women. They're submissive, they're docile, they believe in taking care of their man. They won't talk back. They do what you say and all this stuff. You know, then what they is, they've been watching too many World War II Japanese geisha movies. That's what they've been watching. And they, men are stupid. So what they see on TV and in movies, they think that applies to real life. A lot of them do. What they see on TV, they think that's real. It's just the most amazing thing. And it's like these are the people that are running the world. They're idiots. Okay. So those are two of the things. Okay, now let me move on to point two. How do I find guys that I really do want? That's going to be difficult. Just like out, what you might end up having to do, I know because I have a lot of Asian friends when I was growing up. And they have like, matchmaker type people. You might have to go to one of those because then you can meet a man who's professional and who's looking to, have a wife and stuff. He's willing to put money into it, just like you are. So, that would be a way to eliminate all the riffraff from the dating scene. I don't know. It's Washington, D.C. They must have some people like that. I mean, it's a big Asian community, so you should be able to find something like that. I would go that route. I mean, it may not work, but you know what? I think it's got a better possibility of success than just this random dating that you've been doing. Right? That hasn't worked. Let's try something new. Okay, let's try something new. A specialist in the Asian community who's going to match you up with an Asian guy, which is what you want. Because, honey, that's my favorite too. Quiet as it's kept. I've said this. I don't know if you've heard it, but I'm right there with you. Because when Godfrey Yao died, I was so sad. That was one fine little Korean motherfucker right there. Woo! My God. Okay, anyway, and then your first one is some call it racist because of your dating preferences. No, it's not racist to have a preference for someone who looks like you. It's racist if you go out of your way to hurt people who don't look like you, to deny them opportunity, to deny them possibilities. And that does not mean with you, that means with employment, that means with housing, with opening bank accounts, with getting credit, that kind of stuff. Those are government mandated things that have to do with racism. A woman saying, I don't want to date a man who's a dusty knick-knock or a dusty ass white man is not racist. That's your preference. You want to be with an Asian man so you can have Asian babies. I don't have any problem with that. Black women been on that. Well, they want a black man so they can have a black babies. The same thing. White women want white men so they can have a white baby. I mean, everybody wants a kid that looks like them. There's nothing wrong with that if you're gonna, do that. Um, Yeah, so those are the reasons why that's happening. But the main one is the fetish aspect. So it's very insulting. We have that same problem as black women. They just have these fantasies that all the stuff they see in the popcorn movies and stuff is true and real, and these rumors they hear online about men going to other countries to get them an Asian wife are all true. I mean, you read those presentations the women make. I am submissive and this and that. They trying to get the fuck up out of poverty. You a doctor, you don't have that problem, and you're American, so. But I'm just telling you, just consider what I'm saying. Those are some real issues that you'd have to deal with. But I would go with that. Let's start putting some feelers out. Even if you have to get somebody out of the Asian community in New York, I'm sure they have people. Yo, doctor, you can get your butt on a plane and go up to New York, meet your man. Yeah, Trey Snoop Dogg, girl, in a heartbeat. Now, talk about somebody would stalk somebody. That's somebody. Every magazine article, every picture spread he was in, everything that man was in, I was all kinds of over it. And then when he died, I was like, this is so stupid. How he gonna die on doing a TV show? And a raggedy one at that. I was through with them people. So let's move on. I'm so sad for you, girlfriend. But yeah, we in the same boat. I'm telling you, they treat us the same. He was hot, not is Michelle. Michelle, he died about 2 years ago in a accident on a television set. And my heart was broken. I haven't been the same since. Question number 4, female 225 from Kansas City. 14, I'm sorry. Female 225 from Kansas City, Missouri. I'm in a toxic relationship and I don't know what to do about it anymore, Auntie. I need serious help. I'm 22. He's 35. We had friends in common that I didn't know he was toxic. So I thought everything would work out. He shows me red flags quite often, but when I tell him that I want to break up, he doesn't leave my apartment. I've called the police in my area and they have said that since he gets mad at he gets mail in my apartment, that he technically lives here. So there's nothing they can do. I have thought about getting a lawyer to legally evict him since that's really my only other option. But both him and I know that would take me months to save up enough to afford a lawyer. He's not on my lease and my landlord knows he's here. Unfortunately, he has brought animals to my apartment and a friend to my place, which makes it hard for me to have my landlord come over to change the locks because then I would lose the apartment due to my breach of the lease. I honestly have no idea what to do about it anymore. You're going to start looking for an apartment and you're going to move. That's what you're going to do. And you tell the landlord that, the landlord is fully okay. And this is what can be in your favor. Because if he tries to take you to court for a breach, you need to get something in writing that shows the landlord is aware of these people being there and that you wanted to get them out and they didn't help you. I don't know some kind of letter, I'd say, I really need your help getting these people out of here. Can you give them some kind of notice that they're not on the lease and they need to vacate the premises? You're going to ask him for them. You're going to do this in writing so that he gives you a response back. That's what you're going to need to cover yourself when you break the lease. You see what I'm going with this? Because they're going to try to take you to court. He might not, but in case he does try to take you to court for breaching the lease, you're going to have that documentation to show that you asked for help to get these people out of your house and he didn't help you. He was fully aware that they were there. He was fully aware that they were in violation of the lease and he did nothing. Even in spite of when you requested it. You see what I mean? This is setup. So you got to be slick about it. You're going to set his ass up so he can't get a dime. And then you're going to start looking for a place to move to, even if it's a temporary place, because you might have to rent a studio or share a space with somebody for a month or two to get your money right till you get your, deposit back or whatever you're going to do. They might not give you your deposit back because they might fuck up the apartment before you leave. But be sure before you do to take pictures of everything or how it looked. Have the landlord come and do a walkthrough with you. So when they are not there, so he can see what it looks like so that he can sign off on it being approved so that when you do leave, if they fuck anything up, he's going to have to go after them since he approved of them being there so much. And maybe they'll take the lease over. He'll give a new lease with them and they can have the apartment. But that's going to be the only way, especially right now with this COVID stuff going on, you're not going to be able to evict them. Because, everywhere they got these moratoriums on evictions. That's why he's playing you like this. But one thing he cannot do is keep you in the apartment. So you get some movers or some friends to come and pack up all your shit and move it out. And then they can just stay there if he wants to. Okay. Have your mail sent to a P.O. box so he does not have your new address. Do not give him your new address. Don't give the landlord your new address either. Get you a P.O. box. And that's where you have your mail forwarded to. You got it? That's what you do. Any address you put on your new checkbook, your new checking account, you're going to use your P.O. box on your check. Sometimes they want you to write the new address on a check. You can do that. But you're not going to have it printed there. Okay. So you got to think this through, come up with a master plan. But look on here. Okay, Leandra telling you some crook shit. I'm not going to do that. But you can look on here and see some other ideas that they have as well. Okay. But the main thing is you got to start. The first thing you're going to put in motion is setting up that landlord so you can dip out on this lease. And he can't recover anything from you, and you can get your deposit back. Okay, listen to what I'm telling you. You ask for some game, I'm giving it to you. This is how you're gonna have to handle it. Question number 5. And then in the future, don't ever let some motherfuckers move up in your house. He can't even stay a weekend. One night, you bring a change of drawers and a toothbrush. That's all you get to bring to my house. If you ever see somebody try to send some mail to your house, don't let them have a package delivered. Nothing. Okay. And they try that shit. You write return to sender, not at this address, and you put it back in the mail. You don't let them get mail at your house. They were like, oh, I had this certain thing that I was going to have sent there. I don't know what happened to it. I don't know nothing. I didn't see it. Yeah, not a magazine, nothing. Junk mail, nothing. Okay, there, question 15, 21 to 25-year-old female from Teaneck, New Jersey. Hi, Deb. I'm a 21-year-old mixed girl, and I like my white boys. But hearing that my partner didn't know what, quote, blackface was has really been a what the fuck moment for me. I basically grew up knowing what blackface was, and I have no idea if this is a red flag or not. Should I be angry that he is unaware of the types of things that impacted my dad and other Black Americans? Should I be disappointed he hasn't shown an interest in my culture? Of course, I'm going to educate him on what it is, but I'm just so confused. He's also Canadian, so I don't know if that's a factor in all of this, but what should I do? How should I handle this? Seems he doesn't know a lot about racial stuff, and it's very uncomfortable for me. I haven't messaged him since Sunday afternoon, and I feel weird, but it just feels so uncomfortable and forced now to talk, and I also don't want to lead him on. What should I do? Okay, how long? Again, another one who didn't say how long she's been dating this, but I'm going to tell you this. The white guys that I have dated or men of any other ethnicity always knew about Black culture. How, you have to have somebody who knows, and like, the Filipino dude, Japanese people, people I did Korean, Irish, whatever. You make it a point to know about your partner's history and culture because that's who they are. That's who their family is. If you care about them, you want to learn that kind of stuff. The fact that he hasn't taken any initiative to get off his ass and try to learn something, read a fucking book, read on a website, ask you questions, or these kind of conversations with you. Seeing as how he's from another country, is a little different than the history of slavery and all this kind of stuff in the United States. But there's things called books. That's how you learn things. And so the fact that this is what I call white privilege. The fact that they are in such a little bubble that they can live their entire lives without making any effort to learn anything about the lives, the history, the habits, the food, the impact of racism, the impact of sexism on people who don't look like them. That is a privilege that only white people have. Okay. And that's what you're running up against. Now, sometimes I'm not saying that this is a horrible guy or that you should hate him or anything like that. What I'm saying is what you have is someone who is not trying to get out of his bubble. Is going to put you in a situation where you're constantly having to educate and explain things to him. And at his age, he should know these things. He should be, I want to date a Black girl. What the motherfucker, what you doing to learn about Black girls and what they've been through and what they go through? There's the YouTube videos where Black women are married to white dudes who actually do their hair and do their hair better than Black women do. Because they learned how to do their little mixed daughter's hair. It's like, curly, kinky kind of hair. They learned how to put the moisturizer on and brush it and put the little balls on and stuff like that. It's way different than doing a little straight haired white girl's hair. But these men cared enough to learn. They know about, co-washes and stuff like that. Because they care about those women, and they want to be a part of their lives. You don't have that here. So the fact that you haven't talked to him and he hasn't talked to you, I would say that this is a sign that this relationship, this is probably as far as it's going to go. Okay. You're going to be overburdened if you think that you have to teach him all of this stuff and he's not showing taking any initiative to learn it on his own. That's the part of what makes people feel understood and appreciated and loved for who they are is their partner of some other race, some other ethnicity, some other culture tries to figure them out and tries to learn and embraces who and what they are, and they love you for it because they appreciate the differences. You guys can have open conversations. You can't do that with this guy. Okay. So I'm not saying you can't date white dudes, but I'm telling you, this one's not this one. Okay. Throw him back. Question number 16, female 30 to 36 from North Carolina. Hi, Miss Deb. I've been a fan of yours for years now and just really appreciate all the work you do to help women all the while being hilarious. Yes, I am, aren't I? My question is not dating and relationship related, but I wasn't sure who else to go to for advice. I started a new job this week. God, I get a lot of work related questions and found myself finding out pretty quick this job might not be for me. It's not really the job itself, but there are a lot of black males who work there. And I know from experience that's never a good thing, but I found out too late. Oh boy, you in North Carolina. I was asking my manager a question about something, and this black male stands up and says, "Man, you just got here and already have questions. You must not be that smart." He made sure to say it loud enough so that everyone could hear him, and everyone got real quiet and looked my way. Just out of shock, I didn't say anything and feel angry that it didn't say anything. He's that type that non black people like, but will say anything about black women. This only happened a few days ago, and I'm still mad for not standing up for myself. Now he's doing little things like when my manager congratulates me, he will say something under his breath with my name in it. Or if I clear my throat, he will do it too, but over exaggerate. When I'm taking my break, he will walk by and cough really loud. I want to know how I should have handled this situation. I am new, but he has been there for years and don't want to draw attention to myself. And also, from past experience, I know people will take his side. I thought about getting one of my family members on him, but no one other than the people working here are allowed in the building. I am 30 years old and not fond of black men and take extra precautions to stay away from them. I don't want anything to do with them at all. And I feel like taking this job was a huge mistake, but can't really find a job where I'm away from them. They're always lurking around. I don't know what to do. Sorry for the long post, and I hope you get a chance to answer it. Thank you. Yeah, Candace put it in here. Yeah, this is an ongoing problem because you know why? Niggas don't know how to fucking act and keep their goddamn mouth closed. Always gonna be piping up about something and popping off at the mouth, talking some shit don't nobody want to hear. So I'm gonna say this. Okay, you're 30. You don't say how old you think he is. Okay, so you add this. Let's go through this here. Okay, so I was asking my manager a question about something, and he stands up and says, "You just got here. You already have a question. You must not be that smart." You're supposed to say, "By the fact that reason I just got here is the reason I do have questions because I don't want to do it wrong like you do. I don't do it wrong." Except, well, then did you ask? Must have asked questions then, just like I'm doing. So you see what I mean? You set him up that way, so no matter what he says, he's gonna be wrong. That's the kind of shit you got to do to shut them down. But I don't know. You're still young, and so I'm glad you asked me. But I wanted you to start training yourself to come up with smart alecky answers that shut niggas down because they always want to be popping off, saying some shit, trying to be at the center of attention all the time. Another thing you could have said, I'm talking to the manager right now. Would you please not interrupt us? That's another one that you could do that's more low key that, still accomplishes kind of the same thing, but not quite with the same venom. But, it would let him know that you're being ignored, you idiot. Sit your ass down somewhere and shut up. Okay. Or if he keeps at, this coughing thing is very juvenile, just ignore that. But the things that he says or the direct, um, the direct contact with you, those are the things you have to address. This coughing and, stuff. He's trying to get your attention like he's 10 years old. And this, I don't want to draw attention to myself. Yes, you do. Again, this timid shit. You're too old for this. The other little girl was in her 20s, no, early 20s. You 30 years old. You do want to draw attention to yourself. That's the only way you're going to get a promotion. That's the only way you're going to get acknowledgement, bonuses, and whatever else they got going on at this job. Is if they see that you have attention and they see that you know what you're doing and you know how to handle yourself. One thing you cannot do, no matter where you go in life, you're going to have to deal with stupid ass men. The number one thing that young women have to do is learn how to have a fucking spine. You don't let no man intimidate you ever. Okay? If it comes to the point where he's doing stuff that's really like antagonizing you or it crosses the bounds of legality and sexual harassment and stuff like that, you call your manager and demand a meeting. And then you contact me before you go. I'm gonna give you a script because you sound like you would get in there and start crying and be all nervous and you have your words and stuff. That's gonna be the time where you say, look, from the day I got here, I don't know if you recall, I was asking you a question my first week here, and he piped up to interrupt and make these weird comments. This man has been like making comments to me and just been generally harassing me from the second I walked in this door, and I want him to stop. I want him to, unless we have something to do with each other that is work related, I don't want him to come to my desk. I don't want him to talk to me. I don't want him going by my desk making weird coughing sounds and stuff trying to get my attention like he's 12. I want him to leave me alone, stay at his desk and handle his work. That's what I want. Is that possible, sir? And the manager will be like, oh, yeah, sure. No problem. Right? And then he's gonna start looking at dude. And then once you bring this to the manager's attention, the manager's he's gonna be in the spotlight now. So every time he goes by you and says anything, the manager's gonna notice. That's what you want. Okay, now the only way that you get to focus, this kind of focus on his ass, you got to speak up. Come on now. Oh, monkey ass motherfucker. I always say they're always trying to fuck with people. And I think he's, you're only 30 years old and they always lurking around. They are lurking around because they're trying to look for an opportunity. Fucking predators. So, even on the job, it's like they just don't know how to act. They just, when it's a woman on the job, especially if she's cute, not that she don't even have to be cute, just a female period, they don't know how to fucking control themselves. And find out if any of them is married or have a girlfriend. That's another thing you want to do on the under. Find out who's got what at home. If they get too jiggy, say, is this something I should be calling your wife about and tell her what you up to on the job? How you keep bothering me? Because she can make you stop? I mean, this is just, ugh. Yeah, but she has to point it out to the manager that this is an ongoing behavior problem, because that one thing he's going to be, they're not going to, one thing is, it could be a one-off and then whatever. That's why it's going to come to the point where, you're going to have to bring it to the manager's attention that this is a repetitive problem. This is a pattern. Okay, because he might, he's in his office or whatever. He's on the other side of the building. I mean, you don't know what he's seeing, but you are going to have to collect the data and then say, this is his pattern of behavior, and I want it to stop. I just, he's just completely harassing me on the job and just trying to make my time here just horrible. And I don't like it. I don't want him talking to me unless it's about work. And you have every right to do that. Question 17, female, 26 to 30 from the UK. Dear Auntie Deb, thank you for your hilarious channel and all the things you do to help women. Sometimes it really helps to hear when I've been a knucklehead. I recently broke up with my boyfriend, and during our relationship, I was unfortunately diagnosed with genital herpes. Oh no. He took it well at the time, but we were dating for a while, so I guess he was already a bit attached and didn't run away because of it. My problem is that I'll be back in the dating game at some point, and I don't really know how or when to tell potential partners about my condition. I expect there will be a lot of rejection ahead of me, but oh well. How would you handle this situation? Am I doomed to be alone? Should I just give up? Well, as I understand it, there are all kinds of medications now, different pills and stuff that you can take that, address that. And I don't know if it kills the viruses or what, but anyway, talk to your doctor about it. Because there's seems like every few months, there's some new drug on the market that, is an improvement over what was there beforehand. So what you're thinking is like a life sentence of horror. You just make sure your partner uses, condoms, and you take this medication. And then, people say they can tell when they're about to have an outbreak. So then you just make sure there's no contact with him at all during that time until everything heals up or whatever. But I've understood people that they had an initial outbreak, and then they might not have anything for 10, 20 years. It's still in their body, but it's not like really manifesting. I don't need to know all them details. But my thing is, I'm going to tell you that you need to see a doctor and get whatever the latest rounds of drugs that they have. Take that. And then You would be surprised, I think, at how many people also have genital herpes, or they have some other kinds of things, warts or whatever. I mean, people got all kind of shit. So don't feel like you're the only one on this planet, because you're not. But that's what I would do. And the doctor, the nurse or whatever, can give you some recommendations based on the medication that you'll be taking and which type of herpes, virus you have, on what to look for, the virus outbreaks, and how this medication works with it. They'll give you some real solid medical information that I'm not prepared to give you. So that would be what I would recommend. Okay. And then follow their recommendations, take your medication as they instruct you to, and then whatever tips they give you, they advise you that the medication is going to work or not work, what to watch out for, side effects and whatnot. Pay very close attention to that. Okay. But yeah, so many people have that. I really wouldn't worry about it too much if I were you. You definitely want to tell him, but I mean, don't, because he might be like, oh, yeah, me too. I wouldn't worry about it too much. Question number 18, female, 30 to 35, from Glendale, Arizona. My wife and I have an amazing relationship and a wonderful daughter. We are both Black, 35, and our daughter is 7. Everything was perfect, and if you ask her, it still is. But Deb and ladies of the squad, I need your advice to help calm me down or validate my feelings on the situation before I choose to confront her about how I feel. Oh, this is not sounding good. A few years back, my wife and I and her ex from 10 years ago reconnected briefly over social media. So a few years back, her ex from 10 years ago. Okay. Over the next few years, they chatted occasionally, no big deal. Then last year, they started talking / messaging each other almost every day, catching up, setting things straight from their breakup, the usual talk with the ex stuff. They were best friends before they dated and then disconnected for 6 years after they broke up. Then she asked me if he could come into town and hang out for a couple of days because they were friends and hadn't seen each other in a long time. Uneasy about it, I agreed because I trust my wife. While he was up here, I guess some old feelings came up for both of them. Nothing strong, but familiar. Nothing happened, but being paranoid, I checked her messages. The first time I have ever done something like that. This is sounding juicy. Juicy. And there were some flirtations back and forth, so I confronted her and said that it was going to lead to a very bad ending if it's continued. She agreed, and for the first time in 15 years, there was a divide in our relationship. I asked that they stop talking for a bit, but if she really wants to be friends and thinks everything will be cool, then fine. Then 4 months later, I find out they still talk every day. So again, I confront her and say how uncomfortable I am with them being so close. She agrees that if the tables were turned, she would be furious. Okay, so now 4 months after that, she still talks to him every day. So I checked her messages again, and while the messages aren't flirty, he is very much still in love with her and has never had another girlfriend since. So he says. So what the heck am I supposed to do now? They aren't doing anything wrong, but it bothers me every day. But I feel like I can't say anything because they're just friends. Am I going crazy? Is she still in love with him? Why won't she stop talking to her ex? Help. Okay. Time for you to look in the chat stream. Now, see, this is where I feel like, you talk about you trust her and shit. I don't trust nobody. Even if you trusted your wife, you don't trust no other man. So you were supposed to put the brakes on that shit right away, my brother. My brother. That was a mistake, as you see. Okay. So now what you're going to do is you're going to sit wifey girl down and you're going to say, look here. This little dalliance that you're involved in, I know it's exciting for you and you feeling all wanted and desired and you think that this shit is all sexy and romantic and all this old bullshit right here. But I'm telling you where this is leading is what's called a divorce. It's called a divorce. And it would be because you're trying to live in the past. You're trying to recreate something that's been dead for years. You're enjoying living in Fantasy Island and what coulda, woulda, shoulda. But this is your reality right here. Me and that little girl. So you have a decision to make. Either you cut off that correspondence with that man and you do it now and you do it today, or we're going to separate and then you can be free to do whatever the fuck you want to do over there. But you're not going to be married to me and have this house and all the stuff here with us while you think that you're going to be flitting around with some other man. That's not a marriage to me. I don't know what the fuck that is, but it's not a marriage, not to me. I'm not messing with no other woman, and I expect my wife to not mess with other men. And that includes emotional affairs, which is what you're doing right now. That's what you tell her. And you put all kinds of bass in your voice. But you be calm. You know, you don't rant and rave and act a fool. You be very calm and you just set that out for her. Because she might not understand that that's what she's doing, living in the past and having an emotional affair and caught up in some, fantasy island bullshit. That's what she's doing. And all the stuff about him not having another woman, I don't believe that shit. Another girlfriend, lying motherfucker. But see, he's telling her that because he knows that's going to open up them legs. This right now, this is not so much about her. He's in competition with you. That's what this is. And you need to explain that to her. She's stupid. She don't understand how men operate. Dude is merely trying to see if he could pull her, if he could tap that ass. That's all he's trying to do. And your wife is kind of naive that she doesn't understand that. That dude has no intention of being with her. He just wants some pussy. He wants to eat the feather in his cap of her having been allegedly happy married for all these years, but he could roll into town, send her a few texts, and tap that ass. And he's not gonna want her after that. He's not gonna want to be with her because he's gonna be like, "Damn girl, you claim that you love somebody and you devoted to him and shit, and this is how you do, dude. You would do the same shit to me. I'm out." And so then she's not gonna have anybody. You need to let her know that this is how men do. She's being hella stupid right now. And your wife don't have no game. So you're going to have to just educate her. Just break it all the way down. Just like I just did. If you want to just play this part of the video for her. And let her understand. She's setting herself up to be stupid. Yeah, it's that easy. And, that's how dudes will do. And then he's not going to want her. Because he's going to be like, shit, I just... sent a few texts and ran a little game on you, and your legs parted like the Red Sea. I'm not gonna love nobody like that. I'm not gonna be married to somebody that's stupid and weak. A lot of women don't understand that. And they think, oh my God, he really loves me. I'm gonna be with him. This would be the marriage and the relationship that I should have had years ago. I missed out. I just want this kind of passion. And she don't realize he gonna tap it and he gonna be out. Like, boop, bye ho. He's not gonna respect her for cheating on her husband. So, I don't know. When I see women like this, I'm like, wow, you hella stupid. Move on. Question number 19. Male 18 to 21. No location provided. Oh my God, my girlfriend told me the other day that she would leave me if I became handicapped. How should I take this? I'm 20 and she's 20 and we've been dating for 3 years. Damn, y'all been dating a long time to be so young. So yesterday on my way back home from an out-of-town trip, I was nearly in a car accident. But by the grace of God, everyone in the car was okay. I made it back home and was telling my girlfriend the story. She was really scared, but glad I was okay. I told her, quote, in the case we were in a crash and I came back handicapped and not able to walk for the rest of my life, I tell you it's okay to go and find a new man. I didn't really mean it. I'm not sure why I said it, Dante, but I guess I just wanted reassurance from her. You're an idiot, but I'll address that in a minute. But right after, there was a long silence. Then I asked if she would leave me in case I was handicapped. She responded by saying, not immediately, but yeah. In that moment, I was so shocked and hurt. I bet you he was clutching his pearls. She asked if that was mean of her to say, and I just said no and played it off like it was fine. She's an outdoorsy person, and that's why I feel bad if she had to date me in that state. But her response was just so quick and surprising. Made me reconsider if she actually loves me. Am I overreacting? Is what she said fine? Should I feel upset? Thanks for your insight. Let me explain something to you, like young man. 18 to 21. Okay, you 20 years old. You ain't married? You all are just barely out of your teens. Okay. You've been dating 3 years, but you know what a boyfriend is? I done told y'all this 55 million times. A boyfriend is just a motherfucker that you fucking right now. That's all a boyfriend is. Okay, there's no commitment there. You ain't married to her. She's not married to you. No vows have been taken. No promises for a lifelong commitment have been made. She's a girlfriend and she's only 20 years old. What do you think she would do with the rest of her life dealing with somebody in a wheelchair who can't walk? I mean, let's be honest here. I know people say it's cold blooded and that's cold. And, what about love and all that kind of shit? I tell you, if I was 20 and somebody came back from a car accident and they was all crippled up and stuff, you think I would stick around? She say not immediately, but yeah, no, I would leave immediately and I would tell it. I'm just like, I don't know. Yeah. I'm just, I don't know what else to tell you. People feel like, well, you're supposed to love me unconditionally. That's drunk talk. Okay. That's the shit that people say when they're high or crazy. There's no such thing as unconditional love. Get that out of your head. The only person who might have that for you is your mama. But judging by what I was reading the other day, where they had that, what was it, Missouri? Minnesota, wherever that state was, where they had that law where you could drop your kids off and all them people popping wheelers to drop off their teenagers and all the other kind of kids they didn't want to be bothered with. The man dropped off all 9 of his kids. He didn't want to be bothered with them from 1 to whatever, 14. All of them gone. He was like, oh, get the hell out of here. Leave me alone. Okay, so, even with parents, unconditional love doesn't exist, right? There's no such thing. So people need to get over it. All this romanticizing somebody sacrificing their life for you. You was the one in the wreck, not me. And I'm like, what? Why should my life end? Just I feel that same way about somebody who gets themselves locked in prison for 10, 15, 20 years. Your ass did the crime and is all fucked up in prison, not me. They don't have shit to do with me. I'm gonna be out here enjoying my life. You gonna be the one in the cage living like an animal, like a bear in the zoo. That's not gonna be me. We're married, we're divorced, sir. We dating. Well, we broke up, sir. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, yeah, Faye. Listen, I'm telling you, I was reading about it because it was a news article that they had to hurry up and go and change the law because they made the law and they didn't put the age of minimum or maximum age of the child. They left that part out. So people was bringing teenagers and dropping them off at the hospital and police station and fire station and shit, popping up, drop kicking them kids out and driving off because there was no repercussions for it. That was the law. So they had to hurry up and take it back in and adjust the law. But it was too late because all them kids that had already been abandoned, they couldn't undo it. Yeah, how you gonna be having 9 kids? What was wrong with you? So I don't know what to tell you, dude. That's gonna be the answer that you're gonna get from most young girls that's only 20 years old. Okay, because very few of them want to sacrifice their whole life for you, looking at you, and they not married to you, ruining their chances at happiness and having a husband that can hike and roll with them and do all the things that they enjoy doing to give it up for you, a mere boyfriend from their teens. Not gonna happen. Let's move on to question number 20. We got 5 more to go. If you're not a subscriber to the Dev's Tourism channel, please hit that subscription button and the instant notification button so you can get a reminder of the shows as I schedule them and when we go live. Because a lot of people forget, you know, they forget. And so then they be mad that they missed the live because you see there's a lot of kind of activity going on in here. There's a lot of camaraderie and joking around and, they come up with solutions and ideas. And if you're not a part of that fun, you catch it on the back end. I mean, it's still interesting to read, but it's way more fun to participate when the show is live. So I strongly suggest that you become a subscriber and join the 26,000 other people who have done similar things. Just hit that button. It's painless and it don't hurt and it's free. There you go. So let's move on. We got 5 questions to go. That was my commercial. Female, 30 to 35 from the Gold Coast of Australia. I recently went no contact with my mom and dad. My grandma told me if I don't start talking to them again, my grandpa will likely off himself from the stress I am putting on him. Let me shut up. Bottom line, my mom is a lush and very aggressive. I would consider her a narc. My dad is no better. I feel betrayed by my dad often because he does passive aggressive stuff and throws me under the bus because he likes to be a hero in situations, but at someone else's expense. And if I just don't want to fucking be the person picking up the weight and clean up his mess anymore, I'm so done with both of them. I really don't want to have this added family stress in my life. I haven't cried at all in the last 2 weeks. I've been no contact, but I was miserable before then. Also, don't want my grandpa's blood on my hands if this really is my fault. What should I do? It's not your fault. This is what you know what you know to do. You want to stay no contact, okay? Because what they're trying to do is manipulate you into a situation where you're miserable and taking care of, codependently taking care of two adults that need to be taking care of themselves. Now, as far as your grandpa goes, you know what I tell my grandpa? If the people talking about, well, he's gonna off himself. He's gonna off himself because you're not talking to your parents and be like, oh well, he old anyway. Just like I told Deuce about his grandmother. Tell him to go to the light. He'll be just fine. He's old anyway. He's lived a good life. I'm not going to give up mine to do what he wants me to do. Now you may think that's very cold-blooded, but you know what? You got to break this pattern that your family is in, where they depended on you to be the one saying, one holding all the sickness and twistedness together. Bow out, alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, and just, go do your own thing. I wouldn't be bothered with them. Let me drink some water. My throat's getting dry. I was talking. Yeah, old geezer talking about I'm going to kill myself. It's like, go ahead. Shit, your ass going to die next week anyway. It's not, so it's a week early. Big whoop-de-doo. I wouldn't give a fuck. They wouldn't want to say something like that to me because I would hurt everybody's feeling. It's like to the drug addict. It's like you just trying to kill yourself little by little. That's why you using all that shit and fucking up your body. And the one that's an alcoholic, same shit. You're gonna be shutting down your liver and kidneys. It's like a slow suicide. And then here come grandpa talking about I'm gonna kill myself. Your ancient ass need to die. Clear up some space on the planet for somebody young and vibrant. That ain't you, Gramps. Oh fucker. Trying to threaten somebody. Question number 21, female, 30 to 35 from Pittsburgh, California. Deb. Oh, with all these exclamation marks. I saw clear pics of the guy I'm talking to online, and I don't find him attractive at all. What should I do? Ooh, catfished. We are both 34, and we've been talking every day for 2 weeks, and the pics he had on his profile seemed decent enough. They were kind of distant, though, so I couldn't really get a good close look at his face. But I thought I had a good idea of what he looked like. But I was very wrong. He looks like a completely different person. And truthfully, it's killed continuing talking to him now that the attraction's not there at all. I don't want to ghost him, but I have no idea what to say. Shit. Ghosting is your friend. Just call it, just Casper him. Slide into the wall, the darkness. But you don't want to do that. This is what you do. This is what you do. It's called lying. So you talk to him the next time and you say, oh, I met someone else that I think I'm going to pursue that because it looks like, we have more in common and, so whatever. I don't know, whatever lingo people use on these dating apps because, I don't fuck around with it. So I can't tell you all of that, the words to say. But I'm just saying, you just tell them you met somebody else and you're going to pursue that and look over there. That's what you do. So she doesn't want to ghost him now. That would be, that's my favorite technique. I used to do that before I even had a name. It wasn't called ghosting. It was just called, I don't know, just disappearing on the motherfucker. Okay. But okay, now they call it ghosting. But I was real bad about that. And I would just sit there, and this is the days before caller ID even. And I would sit there, the phone would ring and I wouldn't answer the phone. Let my brother answer the phone. If she ain't here. Remember them days when people had to answer the phone because they didn't have caller ID yet? And they answer the phone and my brother was like, oh, they'd be looking for me. And my brother said, oh, she's not here. Well, where is she? I want to talk to her. Oh, I don't know. She left with so-and-so. And he would make up a name. She's with so-and-so. It's like my brother's like, yeah, she's dating him now. You didn't know? My brother's like, tell you they had a sister back. But I don't be bothered with him. Just tell me you met somebody else and that you're going to pursue that. And then it was nice knowing him and you hope he finds what he's looking for and ta-ta. Question 22, female, 26 to 32 from Padua, Italy. Ooh, Italy. I love your channel! Exclamation marks. This is my first time writing in after watching for over a year. I love how you tell people off, and I need help figuring out how do I get past my husband's pessimism to feel good about my accomplishment. How do I say what I need to say to him about how he talks to me? I have always wanted to write, so last year during quarantine, I started a novel. I finished it last week. Oh, good for you. I could never write nonfiction. It took me over fiction. It took me over a year to write, and personally, I think it's pretty good. I want to get it published. Then on Friday evening, I came home and glowingly told my hubby I finished it. He spent all weekend telling me what a failure it will be. Wow. How somehow I'll get screwed in the end and other general negative comments. Wow. After you worked on it for over a year, I finally told him last night when he started in again to just shut the F up and I walked away. I have no problem standing up for myself. I have no problem taking care of myself. And I'm well aware of his pessimistic personality, but I'm having a problem being as excited about this as I was on Friday. My joy seems to have taken away by his negativity. How do I get that back? Oh my God. Okay, so essentially you let him you let him get in your head. That's what happened. Do you have some friends? You have some friends? You need to get around your friends and get your juice back up because they will build you back up. Okay, that's women and their friends. I mean, that's what you need to do. Okay, go out, you have a girls' night, you just get you some wine, drinks, whatever. Go at one of your friends' house and let them big up you and congratulate you and tell you how wonderful it is, how smart you are, how talented you are, and build that wounded part of yourself back up. Like scar tissue. So that you'll come back stronger when you go home. So even if he does start with his nonsense, it won't affect you the same way because your friends have just put scar tissue and Kevlar and stuff over your heart and feelings. And so it's not going to affect you the way that he's trying to make it. He wants you to be like this. He was intentionally trying to sabotage your confidence and your happiness and your joy. Now, you say that he has a pessimistic personality. You should have been cussed him out. Soon as he started in with, his opinions about what was negative about, you should have shut him down that second, not let him continue all weekend. You should have said, I don't give a fuck what you think. Did I ask for your opinion? I was just merely telling you to be polite because this is the path I'm on. I don't need your fucked up opinion about anything that I do. Shut up. And then you know what? Since he thought it was such a good idea to talk shit and try to hurt your feelings and stuff, don't even look to me thinking you're going to get some pussy, motherfucker. That's so not going to happen. I'm not cooking for you. I'm not even going to talk to you until you apologize. But you don't say that, but that's just what's in your mind. And you just ignore him like he's not even there. He's going to say something to you. You're going to look out the window. What's for dinner? You see what I'm saying? You put him on ignore. This is stupid. Okay, so Leandra had some idea. Whatever. Anyway, look in there. Like I said, look in there and see what they have to say that, can augment what I'm saying. But I'm telling you, I would have shut that shit down like the second that he started in. Well, you're not good. What did you say? Oh, he spent all weekend telling me what a failure it will be. I had a boyfriend. Well, I mean, we weren't even boyfriend. We were going out like that. And he was a bodybuilder in Puerto Rico. Okay. He won like awards and all kinds of stuff. And I was trying to do this little competition at the gym, right? Like a fitness competition. It was my first time doing something like that. And I'm going out with this fool who was like won medals and trophies and shit for bodybuilding, right? If anybody had the tools to help me be cut and no techniques to lose weight the fastest and fatten, it would be somebody who was a professional at it, correct? You would think. So I tell him about the same thing. I come and I tell him, how excited I am. I'm joining this little contest and I'm going to try to win. And it's like for 30 days or something. And this and that. okay, I'm telling him about this. I'm thinking he's going to be enthusiastic since that's his field of expertise. Same shit. Started telling me how I wasn't going to win. I was going to fail. I was going to be, I should prepare myself not to win and all this kind of stuff. And I just remember sitting there looking at him thinking, this is our last date. And I kind of liked him. He was cute. He had that whole Latin lover vibe. But that conversation was such a fucking turn off. And I just didn't want anything to do with him anymore after that. So he got ghosted. I changed his phone number. I had my old phone. I would change because these are pre-block days. So the old like brick phones. And so you couldn't really block people then. But what I would do, I changed their phone number their name rather on the phone to do not answer. And you can't have multiples at that time. So I had do not answer 1 through like 70 because every time I got sick of a dude and I had his number, I didn't want to delete it because I not forget it. I don't know people's number. I would just change it to do not answer. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Each one had a different number. And every so often, one of them would pop up. I didn't know who the fuck it was, but I followed the instructions on the screen. Do not answer. And I didn't answer the phone. So that's what happened to him. His ass got ghosted. Like I said, I was doing ghosting before it even had a name. And that's what happened. You got do not answered. Okay, they call it ghosting now, but it's the same shit. And that's what I had to do with him. And I went on, I won 3rd place. But if I had, some this is before I became a trainer. If he had worked with me and showed me something, I probably could have came in 1st place because I was dedicated for those 30 days. But I didn't have the expertise to really make it happen. The 2 ladies who won 1st and 2nd place had trainers. I did mine by myself. So, if I would have had a trainer, like if he had helped me, I'm sure I could have just breezed into 1st place and won. It's like a $500 prize. I was trying to win that money. So I was like, wow, this is terrible. This guy is awful. So that's what I recommend. Call your girlfriends and tell them you need some support and get it on. Get it. Okay, from your friends. Question number 23, female, 26 to 30 from Charlotte, North Carolina. My boyfriend and I have been together for 7 years. 2 years ago, he cheated on me, left, and came back 5 separate times for the same girl. Okay, you stupid. I'm sorry, you're dumb. How the fuck you gonna be having some man going in and out your life and in and out your bed, going back and forth to the same bitch 5 different times, and you take him back every time? Pretty quick after the final time, he went to jail. Okay. He went to jail for 6 months, where he proceeded to tell me that I was his everything and how wonderful things would be when he got out, etc., etc. He got out and things have changed some. I have access to all his accounts, at least that I know about. He tells me that he's not doing anything bad or wrong anymore, but then things aren't what he said they'd be like, and our relationship is very strained all the time. We've never really sat down and discussed the affair or anything previously because he says I need to leave it in the past. And he's focused on our future, but I just can't let go of the past because I don't feel like it was ever fully discussed. I still have so many lingering questions that he refuses to answer or even acknowledge. I don't bring it up often, but I am very insecure and broken and untrusting as a result. And he tries to make me feel crazy and irrational for feeling that way. There's, of course, a lot of more to this story. I just cut it down because I know you hate long ass letters. Oh, thank you, Jesus. This is the shortened version, but I hope it's enough to try and figure out if I truly am wrong for the things I'm asking for. Well, you didn't say what you asked for. You cut that part out. But I'm going to tell you this, what I'm saying. You've been back and forth with this dude. He's been back and forth with another woman for 7 years, 5 different times, plus he's been to jail for 6 months. So how long have you actually really spent with him in a relationship that made sense? I'm not hearing where this makes any sense. I'm hearing a bunch of silly stuff. Thanks, Onyx. I have a clown nose. I wonder what I did with it. I had a little red clown nose I would put on when I wanted to clown people. But young lady, please break up with this guy once and for all. See if you can you got a job. See if you can get a couple of sessions of some therapy. Maybe they can recommend some books for you to read or something. You have got to do something to fix yourself. There's some deep, deep wounds in you where you just seriously do not feel like you are good enough. So you have to accept this. This guy is a bum. He's dusty and he is a loser. Okay? And he just has no respect for you, just going back and forth like that, and you keep taking him back. I don't even know what to say. And of course, they be in jail talking about they love you and all that. They want some place. They want somebody to put some money on their books and a place to go and you go when they come out. I don't do jailbirds. I just can't do it. Shit, even if I was a jailbird, wouldn't expect nobody to wait for me either. Question number 24, female 225 from Reading, England. I need to know if what my boyfriend said to me is a red flag or if I'm thinking too much. I am female, 23. My boyfriend is 24. I love to watch real life mysteries, forensic files. Ooh, I love that show. Investigation discovery. Yes. The FBI files, murder documentaries, and things like that. Yes, yes, me too. I've been watching a lot with my boyfriend, but then this happened a few days ago. While we were in bed cuddling, he said, quote, I'm going to pretend to kill you since you love those shows so much. Uh, then he giggled and grabbed me tightly so I couldn't get free. He loves to hold me down and tickle until it hurts and I'm begging him to stop. Does he? No, not until I threaten him to stop by saying I will never talk to him again if he keeps it up. Is this a huge red flag or a joke? I'm not sure if I'm being too prudent. We've known each other for 7 years on and off, and our relationship used to be toxic with a lot of yelling and crying. Now it's back on after a 2 year break. This was a recent comment. Please help me to cut it. Cut it off. How do you even fix your mind to think that somebody saying something like that to you is a joke? That his mind, he's even thinking to say something like that is like a major, it's like a parade of red flags. It's like a whole nation of red flags. You know what the United Nations building looks like with all them countries' flags? Oh, that many red flags, at least. Just waving. And then this thing where he wants to pin you down so you can't get free. He's having some kind of like, assault fantasies. That's what's going on in your dude's mind. Thanks, Miss Kitty. Young lady, get away from this fool. You broke up with him for 2 years. You should have stayed gone. Okay. Whatever was wrong then, it's still wrong. And it sounds like it's gotten worse. Get away from this fool. Stop going. Why do girls keep doing this? It's like if the fool, he was crazy. That's why you guys broke up. He didn't respect you. He abused you. He cheated on you. He lied to you. He didn't hold up his end of the relationship. Whatever it was that he did that made you guys break up, it's still there. He hasn't changed. Okay? He's still the same fool he was. Y'all just keep going back. Like you magically expect some dinka he's gonna be different. He's the same. He's just older. If it's in the past, leave it there. Okay? Just swim forward in life. Stop circling back to pick up trash. That's what it is. You're just going backwards in life and doing the same shit, staying on like a hamster wheel. You're not making any progress in your life. You're just staying stuck on stupid with some idiot that, downright abuses you and talks about killing you, and you think that the shit is funny. Get rid of this fool. Tell him you don't like his conversation. You don't like how he treats you, and the relationship is over. And this time, stay gone. That's what you need to do. But see, this thing here, as a kid, I used to have what she's talking about, this holding down and tickle till it hurts. As a little kid, I used to have a nightmare about something called the tickle monster. And this exact scenario that she described is what I used to imagine happening to me in my dream. Those dreams stopped when I got about, I don't know, probably about 10 or so, because by then I could fight. And by then, I learned how to take control of my dreams. It's such a bizarre thing. My grandmother used to tell me that if you dreamed that you were falling, if you hit the ground, you would be dead. So I started training myself because I used to have a lot of falling dreams. I started training myself to step into my dreams and consciously control them at 10 years old. And so I remember one time I was in a dream and I was falling, right? And I could hear my grandma's like, if you hit the ground, you're going to be dead. And I did like one of the Matrix moves. And this is way before the Matrix came out. Okay. And I stopped like this. I was spread out like that with my hands and stuff, about this far from the ground. And then I just flipped over, stood up, And after that, I never had another falling dream. I haven't had one since. So it's the kind of thing like whatever that fear was of losing control, I learned to control it. And so the same thing with that tickle monster. There was something about it where I felt like I had no control. And once I got stronger and learned how to fight, once the tickle monster came, I beat its ass. And like my brother taught me, and then I didn't have that nightmare anymore either. So, young lady, though, you're living it in real life with a grown man that you feel powerless to stop, and he won't stop hurting you until you have to beg him to stop. And you think this is a good relationship. Leave this fool alone. Yeah, I used to fly in my dreams too. Yeah. Flying. I would fly like they called it astral projection because like I would fly up and I could see myself laying in my bed. And then I'd go through the window, third story, because our house had like the basement level, the first floor. And so we're on the third floor now. And I'd go out the window and fly over to watch my grandparents sleeping and, to visit my aunt and stuff and just fly all around San Francisco. And then I'd go back home. And it was really freaked them out because I was a little kid. And I would tell my grandmother what pajamas she had on and stuff. That's how they figured out that that's what it was. I say, oh yeah, you had your pink gown on and this and that, and grandpa was this and that, and blah, blah, blah. And I'll be talking about what movie they was watching and all kind of shit. So it's like, I knew whatever this was, I was able to do it. And then I lost that ability when I got a certain age. But yeah, my family was freaked out because they were like, how'd she know that? It was very interesting. So as I got older, I've always had a lot of psychic power. I just didn't know it. But that's what I use when I read these letters is I put myself in that person's mindset and I try to relate to what they're feeling and thinking so that I can, it's like fill in the blanks with the stuff that they say here versus what they're not saying. Like feel the terror that they feel, the confusion, the hurt and all of that. So, that's how I do it. So let's move on. We got one more letter. This is the last letter of the evening. Question number 25. This is a female in the 30 to 35 age group from Buffalo, New York. I am so frustrated right now. My SO and I have been together for about 18 months. We've been living together for 4 months. Our initial agreement was to split the shared bills. I would take care of the rent and he would take care of the utilities. Okay, how long is this? Oh, this is just a blank piece. Okay. However, literally a month after moving in, he lost his job because of the pandemic. He decided that he wanted to start his own business. I have been incredibly generous while he builds his business. I've taken care of all of our shared bills. Now that he is cleared of the bigger expenses, he only has to keep up with his supplies, which is a fraction of the startup cost. I would guess 75% profit at this point. When he does work, he could easily earn $500 to $750 a week, more than enough to cover his bills, his share of our bills, and set some aside for savings. Unfortunately, his business is solely dependent on weather conditions, meaning he can really only work when it's not raining, which is a common occurrence where we are, which was where again? Oh, Buffalo, New York. Okay, I didn't know it rained a lot there. He also refuses to work on Sundays. I work 9 to 5 and make decent money, enough to cover my bills, our shared bills, and save a little each month. But now he says he is only concerned with paying his own personal bills and saving as much as he can. I don't think this is fair. It's not my fault he blew through his savings and I shouldn't have to not save so he can. I personally don't think his lack of savings is my problem, and here's why. He inherited a decent amount of money that if he had budgeted properly, he would still have a nice nest egg, but he spent his savings before he decided to start his business. I tried my best to advise him on how to handle his money, but it's his money. I literally had no say in the matter. I'm frustrated. I don't really know what to do. I want him to be successful, but not at my expense. Any advice on how to handle this? Yes, tell him to move out or you move out. I don't know who moved in with who, but see, this is why I would never let a man move in with me. This shit from these advice columns. And once you get them in there, right now you in this pandemic shit, so it's hard to get people to move out. Hopefully you moved into his spot so you can just move right on out. That would be the only way that I would do it. If I move in, I'll move in with a man. I'm not letting him move in with me. I'll move in with him now. And then when I get ready to go, I'll pack my shit and leave. I've done that several times. Nigga come back There's my shit by the door. Or burst yet, my shit's already gone, and I just left the key there. I was a terrible person. I admit it. And then they'd be like, "Well, what's going on?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm leaving. I'm gone." And one guy, he had been waiting for me to sign the lease, right? I put that shit off. I found my apartment. I was like, yeah, I'll get over there. Every time I go, the office is closed. I had all these excuses. And so I'm still living there, right? And so then one day I found my apartment and then I moved. And then he came back and I was getting the last of my things. And he was like, "Well, what's going on? Where's all your stuff?" I said, "Oh, I'm moving." He's like, "How you moving?" I'm like, "'Cause I'm sick of your shit. That's how. I'm done here, sir. This is over. I'm gone. I'm gone." And he was like all on the ground. He was like hanging onto my leg. It was like in the cartoons where, you're kicking your leg and stuff, trying to get away. And he was just hanging on and crying and whatnot. Oh my God, it was so undignified. I was just so through. I was like, how you going to be 6'3" and buff and looking like this? I can tell you all my meal was fine. But in that moment, he just I was grossed out. It's like, how you on the floor crying and stuff? He's a nice looking brother, tall and smart and everything. It's like you can get any woman you want, like you used to always tell me. So why are you crying hanging on my heel? Because that motherfucker knew he didn't really want anybody else. He just wanted to try to manipulate and control somebody. But I was like, oh, no, I've had enough of you and your nonsense conversation, so I'm leaving you. And I left. And his mother was so through with me. My son's heart's broken. I'm like, Kanye shrug. What you want from me? Your son is stupid and so is you. Shit, fuck you, bitch. Get off my phone. I don't know, what people expect from me. Because, I'm going to always love me more than I love anybody. That's why I have such a problem with these young ladies, because it's obvious that they don't love themselves. They love these men and they sacrifice themselves and their self-respect, their money, everything to take care of these men. So anyway, this is, let me see here, because I'm still not used to this new thing I'm doing here. Okay, here we go. Sunday, I'm still looking for guests for the polyamorous relationship show. Write me if you're interested in being a guest or you want to talk about your experiences with that lifestyle or, whatever. Is going to be Sunday. Is airing live on Sunday starting at 4 p.m. Pacific time to 7 if you're on the East Coast. Write to me at survivingdating@gmail.com with your name and, a couple of sentences about, what your background is and familiarity with a polyamorous relationship. And then, let me know if you're willing to be a guest to talk about it. I hope I have one person, but I would like to have, at least 2 or 3. So it would be like, a more balanced kind of discussion, like some people that's pro and maybe some people who are con or whatever. I mean, I would like it to be balanced, but it's just really hard to find people for these shows. Okay, then the week after that, we don't have a live stream. The Sunday after that, though, is the show on divestiture. All these Black women crying about divest. Okay, I want to know what that's all about. Why y'all trying to divest so much and what you divesting from? So let's talk about that. That's going to be on Sunday, September 12th. Okay, so I'm looking for guests for that too, for people who want to, participate in that discussion. But all in all, it was a great show, I think. I hope you guys learned a lot. Basically what not to do. Okay, that's pretty much the lesson here. On What the Fuck Tuesday is every Tuesday starting at 6 p.m. Pacific time. If you want to submit a letter, look in the show description down below. Click the link that says Get Advice and then submit your questionnaire. We'll be here on Friday with the Dusty News Network. Send in your memes, survivingdating@gmail.com. I'll see you guys on Friday night, okay? Take care till then. Bye-bye.